Hello, everyone. My name is Dante McGilvery, and I am here to discuss briefly the subject resilience and grit in the face of challenges. And how ironic it is that I speak from this subject during the COVID 19 season, if you will, where it's keeping us all in the house. And the noises you will hear in the background is from my 2 month old son. That even though I try to record this at a time when everyone is asleep in the house, there's one person I really can't control. But nevertheless, the subject of resilience and grit in the face of challenges. When I think about this subject of resilience, I'm reminded of something my colleague said, Nicola Olson. She's doing research, conducting research from the subject of resilience, and she discovered that resilience was originally a word used in ecology. Nicola informed me that ecological resilience was defined as the amount of disturbance that an ecosystem could stand without changing self-organized processes and structures. So, to put it in plain language, it is the ecosystem's ability to bounce back or return to equilibrium from disruption. And I thought that was quite interesting because um, when we think about resilience, it's all about bouncing back, the ability to be strong enough, have the fortitude to continue going. And then when I think about this in my own life, I have many stories about resilience where I saw this in myself. Um, but there's one particular story I want to focus on, and that's the story of resilience as it relates to education. Coming from a home, a background where no one in my family was educated, college educated. I had a aunt who received a degree, and that was the only person I knew who was educated. But in my personal home, my household, no one was educated. I grew up in a household of a single parent home. My mother, she was 25 years old by the time she had five children. Um, and she had me when she was a teenager because um, my mother, who was raped as a teenager by an older man, an adult, and at the time my mother just could not afford to get an abortion. She kept me, and she gave birth to me 9 months later. She loved me uh, till all through life, even now. But the fact is that because of the situations during her high school years, being pregnant and things like that, she was unable to finish high school. And as a result, she was a high school dropout, but yet she had five children by the time she was 25. And she was one of the hardest working people I know, even to this day. She worked day in and day out to provide for all five of us. And I use this story as resilience because although she did not graduate high school, I was the first person in my home to graduate high school and to go to college. And I remember being in college. The neighborhood I grew up in was a black and brown community, so I never went to school with white people until I went to college, and that was a interesting experience for me getting started. But one particular time I remember a really great friend of mine. He was my best friend during college years, and one day he was interested in dating this other student, and I told him he told me that not only did she look really good, and he wanted to talk to her because of that, but also he wanted to date her because she was working on a master's degree. And I remember it was my sophomore year in college, and I remember saying, "Excuse me, what she's working on? What? What's a master's degree?" It was my second year in college, and I had never heard of a master's degree. I did not understand that concept. As I told my friend, why would anybody want to go to school for another degree? And it really, my response to my friend saying, talking about a master's degree was really out of the type of community, a natural response because of the community that I grew up in, a community that did not talk much about education. Graduating high school was like graduating with a bachelor's degree in the neighborhood I grew up in. So if you graduated high school, you were really somebody. And so these terms were new to me and foreign to me. The whole higher educational experience was foreign to me. But I remember, nevertheless, continuing and studying. Though it was tough for me as an undergraduate, I continued to study and graduate. And I barely graduated with my bachelor's degree, but I ended up a few years later getting accepted to grad school for my master's degree. And so that's the irony. There's what I did not know when I was a sophomore in college. I now was pursuing a master's degree a few years later. And now I'm a PhD student here at Arizona State University. And people are often surprised because those who know my story wonder what is it that kept you going, even though you faced so many challenges in your college career, your college pursuit, and your lifestyle and your upbringing and your family. You've never seen this tradition of going to college in your family. So what was it that kept you going despite all of the odds seemingly against you? And the thing that comes to mind is resilience. And that ability to fail a class but yet bounce back, to get on academic probation as an undergraduate my first semester, but then bounce back the next semester with the proper grades to continue going. And that continued so much so that I decided to pursue higher ed, a PhD, and work in higher education. And because of that, my younger siblings were encouraged. My sister just graduated with a master's degree in mathematics, and my younger brother just graduated with his bachelor's degree. And these types of things inspire me. Then I noticed one thing about resilience. If resiliency is about the ability to bounce back and to remain intact, even though disruption has happened, then I was able to bounce back because of one thing. Contrary to popular belief, resiliency is not all, does not come something that is innate within us that just naturally comes out. Resiliency is comes from the ability to have a great support team, a great support staff, people around you cheering you on, inspiring you, and encouraging you. And for me, that takes me back to my mother, because although my mother didn't finish high school, what my mother showed, how my mother showed resiliency to me was the fact that she was able to take care of 5 children on her own, and she kept us under strict rules. But the success of us from the neighborhood we are from, we have a different story than most people who are from the type of neighborhoods that we are from, and that was all because of the resiliency of my mother. That even though she was taken advantage of, and even though she had 5 children at a very young age, even though she didn't finish high school, what she did was took care of us on a consistent basis. No matter what she had to do, working 3 different jobs, providing for us, she stayed the course. So she taught me how to be resilient. So at times when I was discouraged and when I was doubtful, I would think about how my mom was able to bounce back over and over again, to the point that in 2013 she got her GED. So the ultimate thing about resiliency, in my opinion, and grit is the ability to face it during these challenges, means having a support system and relying on good friends, good family members, those people who will encourage you, because it's not all that comes from within you, but the people you have around you. So hope that's a great lesson for you, and I hope you just get all of that in and chew on it. Thank you, and take care.